I wish to congratulate the two speakers who, with a great maturity and seriousness, discussed about the world culture in relation and combination, of course, with Christianity and history. So right from that period, this actually changed with their interaction with idolatry, paganism, and the alienation of humans, and the effort, as you actually showed and promoted, relies on the exact same philosophy. I fully agree with both speakers. And of course, the biblical readings that I love it because I'm a professor of New Testament at the Thessaloniki University. They do show the transcendence of this culture which exists nowadays. And your reference is a message from the United States, from Europe, and how all things started. And today, it is, let's say, a culture which is incorrect. In the second speech, I fully agree with you that we have lost in the educational system via a way that the religion course in the curriculum that I have personal experience has been left away, let's say, with some dogmatization, and we miss the essence of the notion that this course is a contribution to history and culture. It is not just a fastidious way to read texts, but instead, this is the essence, this is quintessence of education, which is the transcendence of humans and all the other problematics that did exist, from the equity between men and women, the abolition of slavery, the issue of love as major pedagogical value, without which we arrive at an impasse, which is tragic. So I agree totally with your positions. That I would like to say, Your Eminence, we should draft a text relying on the conclusions of the conference, where we should explain the importance of the course of religion in today's school curriculum via culture and history and the perspective of updating our curriculum as a new way understanding which has a new transcendence of the tragedy related to death, war, etc. That no course in the school curriculum can explain this. This can happen by chemistry, but by mathematics, outside the teachings of theology, because this was something that made us all feel afraid, because the school wanted that the religious course should have a theological discourse, and this led us to a new tragic situation where we could not teach students. So I'm sorry, but there was no question.
I think we just had our third speech.
No.
Your comments.
I would only like to thank Professor Econom.
I would also like to thank you on my side. We both agree that the course of religion in the school curriculum contributes to society, contributes to history. But allow me also to add to that that this course is much more than that. It has a great ontological aspect. In other words, it provides answers to crucial questions. That's all. So we can both agree on that. Comments of microphone cannot be translated. So it has an ontological orientation. It is not about ethics, it's not about religiousness. These provide answers to crucial questions. I'm sorry, there's a dialogue out of microphone. So what's the notion of death, for instance? Thank you for your remarks.
I want to ask you a quick question as well. The war on Western civilization on the part of wokeism, what is your comment on its strategic target of children? Children being the... What's... Sorry. Just wanted to ask you about the war on Western civilization, its impact on children being the extreme target of wokeism.
Yeah, this is a very hard question to answer. The truth is that this woke agenda, as if I understand your question, starts from this conflict of civilizations. Yes, it influences children, it has an impact on children. Children embrace the woke agenda because they are very sensitive to social injustice. But we have to show children that we are sensitive to social issues, such as the acceptance of diversity, such as the fight against racism. But this does not mean that we no longer have our universal values. This doesn't mean that we cannot articulate a speech that will unite all life, and culture develops based on these common assumptions. Without these common assumptions, we cannot be talking about the development of culture and people. Thank you. Would like to thank both speakers. I have a short question to Mr. Theologou. I was particularly concerned by your reference to the approximately right, which stems from the huge volume of information we are bombed with. And as a university teacher, as an academic, can you tell me how academics can address this challenge of approximately right inside the university room? Can we safeguard the universal criterion of correctness, as Professor Christos Giannaras put it? Can you all hear me? Yes, thank you. This is not an epistemological question, I think. I think that what we should cultivate is the spiritual ability of discernment, which doesn't exist anymore in all teachings, at all levels, in all areas. This ability to discernment should accompany children much earlier than university, much earlier than the school age, for example. What do I mean by discernment? I mean, we live in a fluid world, and we should be able to discern one thing from another. Both Aristotle and Jesus Christ talked about that. It is an everyday exercise.
I think that's all the time we have. Well, we'll take one more question.
Thank you very much. A question for both professors. We admire in the United States, I do at least, where orthodoxy is in the majority. Is it conceivable in a place like Greece that this sort of thing could be taught as comparative religion instead of something that is in the middle of the curriculum? Could it be taught as an outside idea, comparative religion?
Could you please repeat your question more clearly about the comparative?
Thank you. At our seminary, we teach the question of the woke agenda in comparative theology, that is, comparative religion. is it conceivable from the smallest ages in a place where orthodoxy is in the majority, that in schools, rather than having the ideas of universal values and things taught through the school, that this ideology could be taught as a comparative religion so that the students would understand we are Christians, and as Christians we believe this, and this is not Christian, therefore we compare it as a comparative religion. In the book that you referenced, Professor Postman, I have not read that book, I just ordered it while you were talking. He notes in there, he uses the words little gods as some of these kinds of ideas. Is it possible, therefore, to teach this as a comparative religion in Greek schools, for example?
I hope I got your question right. You're talking about comparative religion and whether and how it can be taught in public schools. You talked about Postman, so I would say that comparative religion requires a maturity. And I'm not sure that children, pupils at schools have that kind of maturity. It comes from the phenomenological approach to religion, and I can tell you that the requirements and the framework for the implementation of this approach are very difficult to grasp even for theologians, let alone children at school age. I would say that the comparative religion approach in the relevant subject matter is such an approach. Children should be informed on religions because religions are the treasure of humanity. But this doesn't mean that the dialogue with religion will take place without an identity. No, I think that the subject matter of religion is a subject matter of identity, and children can get in a dialogue with another religious tradition or another tradition in general only if they are aware of their own identity. The woke agenda, woke politics, woke culture found fertile ground where there was no conscience of a proper identity. Thank you. You are correct. I would like to add to a guide, for example, what discerns Christian from non-Christian. Our guide is tradition. So, Christian and non-Christian are a Manichaeistic and maybe wrong approach, but I think that through the word of tradition we can find our guide. We will find our truth about what is Christian and what is non-Christian.
Thank you very much, and please join me in thanking our esteemed speakers this morning.